All right. All right. So let's get into our top five running backs debate. Um, yeah, because I'm really interested in this. So who you got at number five?
Jonathan Taylor. I think that's respectable. I think that's fair. What, you surprised?
I'm very surprised. My number five, I got Saquon Barkley.
I'm surprised. I'm
Tell me,
surprised.
okay, tell me why. Tell me why that's surprising.
Because 2 years ago he was the number one running back, and he still is as talented as he was. He just didn't have the right system for him.
This is just like the Patrick Mahomes conversation we had last week.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he had one of the greatest seasons of all time for a running back 2 years ago. But last year, what happened? He didn't perform.
They had a whole new offensive coordinator, and they kept on running terrible schemes for him. It's a completely different. They did so.
Okay,
It's completely different a running game.
he still could have done more, in my opinion.
Yeah,
He
for
was
sure.
averaging what, 3 yards, 3.5 yards a carry or something. Like he can do better than that. He played 17 games. Like he just underperformed, in my opinion. But I have him at five because he's still one of the best running backs in the league. When he's at his best, he's number one by far. But I need to see it consistently for another season.
Whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats your boat.
But Jonathan Taylor at five is crazy because he's actually coming off one of the best seasons by running. Not one of the best seasons ever, but last year he had one of the best
He had a
seasons by
great
running.
season. Don't get me wrong. He had a great season. But
Why is he so low? Why is he at five?
he's not low. The top five in the league is good.
Yeah, but if you see his stats from last year,
Oh my goodness.
he led the league in touchdowns. He had 20 total touchdowns. You know how crazy that is to have 20
No.
touchdowns in a season?
I know he had 1,963 scrimmage yards. Okay.
Yeah, in total yards. He averaged 4.9 yards per carry. And he didn't even have 400 total touches. Only 2 fumbles. Like, if you compare that to the other running backs in the league, like, he's top
Here's the
three
thing, though.
for sure.
Here's the thing, though. I'm talking about the complete position. I'm not talking about running. I'm talking about versatility, and you'll see. You'll see what I mean. As a pure rusher, I think Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in the league. But there's a lot more than just running the ball as a running back. So that's why I have him as number 5.
Okay, but he had 20 total touchdowns and
He had
1,900 total
18.
yards.
He had 18 touchdowns off the run. I'm talking about versatility. Versatility.
Okay, but he got the
There's a
job
lot more than
done.
running. There's a lot more
Yeah.
than running.
He got the job done on the ground, so
They didn't even
what are
make
we
the
talking
playoffs. They didn't even make the playoffs. Winning matters.
about? All right, let's get to number 4. Yo,
Number
number
four,
4.
I got Saquon Barkley.
Okay, I got Christian McCaffrey at number 4.
That's crazy to me too. That's crazy to me too. McCaffrey. If we're talking about a guy that had to carry a team on his back, McCaffrey's a definition. I mean, single-handedly carry. That is a guy that had to put the whole team on his back.
I agree, and he did that. But the reason
Yeah,
why
he did that.
the reason why I have him at 4 and not in my top 3 is because he averaged 3.8 yards per carry, and that's not as good as the other top running backs.
Yeah, but if you
The
realize how many
yards.
carries he had, how beat up he got every time, it's gonna come at a price. You can't be as productive if the whole offense goes through you.
I agree. I mean, he had the most touches in the whole league, but
That's my point. He had the most touches, and most touches is a good and bad thing. It shows that you're good, but you're gonna get beat up the most. And he's already injury prone running back as it is. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you're gonna get beat up, and you're not gonna be as productive as you are if you get the most touches.
I agree. But four is still very good. Like the margins from 5 to 1, it's very close. So that's just why I didn't have him higher.
I feel
So
like
let's get to
for me
let's
at
get
least.
to 3.
Look, yeah. What do you think of Saquon at 4 though? Before
I mean, you were getting on me about having Saquon at 5. I thought you had him at like 1, and then he's at
No.
4, so it's not that big of a difference. He's coming
I
off a
gotcha.
rough year, but I think he'll bounce back this year. Number 3, I got Bijan Robinson.
I agree. I got Bijan too.
River. Okay, good.
We agree.
We can agree. Yeah, the
We can
reason
agree.
why I have him at 3 and not 1 or 2, because he should be at 1 or 2. The only reason why he wasn't is because total touchdowns.
Yeah, touchdowns matter, and you can't really
Yeah.
blame him. The situation he had sucked. He had to carry most of the load. You know, the QB position was inconsistent. You had Kirk Cousins as your quarterback, so like for how he did, I think he did as good as he possibly could do. You know,
Yeah.
and I feel like he'd do a lot better if the people around him started stepping up. I'm talking about Kyle Pitts, Drake London. Like they need to step up and take the weight off of him a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Um, so let's get to number 2. And my number 2, I got Jonathan Taylor, who you had at 5.
All right, my number 2, I got Jahmyr Gibbs.
Mm, wait a minute. Okay. So you're telling me you have Christian McCaffrey at number 1?
Christian McCaffrey at number 1. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Wow. Okay. I had Jahmyr Gibbs at my number 1. So let's compare Jahmyr Gibbs and Christian McCaffrey's stats real quick. How about we do that?
Okay, let's do that.
All right, here we go. Okay. So Jahmyr Gibbs played one more game than Christian McCaffrey. Wait, no. No. They both played 17 games. Jonathan Taylor 1,900 total yards. Jahmyr Gibbs 1,800. So pretty similar. Christian McCaffrey 3.8 yards per carry. Jahmyr Gibbs 5 yards per carry. That's where the big difference happens for me. Jahmyr Gibbs had one more touchdown, 18-17, and then fumbles. They both had 2 fumbles, and then total touches. What else makes the big difference for me is Jahmyr Gibbs had almost 100 less total touches than Christian McCaffrey. So that's why Jahmyr Gibbs is my number 1.
I understand where you're coming at. Okay. But I feel like Christian McCaffrey. Okay. You have to remember, the Niners were banged up. And I feel like McCaffrey. You're talking about a guy that had to carry a team on his back to the playoffs. That's what he did. You're not going to produce as much. He did what he had to do. And he had 2,126 scrimmage yards in the entire NFL. Okay, that's second.
Yeah. I misspoke on the total yards. He actually had 300 more than Jahmyr Gibbs, not 100.
Yeah, that's my point. I know he had. How many more carries did he have?
Almost 100. Almost 100 more touches.
Yeah, 100 more touches. But then again, you can't really blame him because who else did they have? George Kittle. He could be a receiving threat, but he's more of a blocking tight end. We can agree on that. That's what he's really good for. I'm not saying he's not a receiving threat, but he's known for being one of the best blocking tight ends in the league.
He's also known for being one of the best receiving tight ends in the league. So he's not just a blocking tight end.
I know, but he's well more known for being a blocking tight end. It's true. You can ask anybody. He's a great receiving threat too. He's a great both ways, but he as a blocker, that's what makes him really good. Okay? We can agree.
Yeah.
And you're talking about Ricky Pearsall was out, Brock Purdy was out. You know, like Jake Tunges had to step in, and I think he's good, but that's how bad it got. Like
I agree that Christian McCaffrey had to carry the load for the Niners. And Jahmyr Gibbs didn't have to do that as much. He had David Montgomery, and they also had a really good passing game.
Yeah.
But I think if you put Jahmyr Gibbs in Christian McCaffrey's situation, I think he does a little bit more
I don't think
than
so.
Christian
I feel
McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey did amazing. You can't argue with that. Amazing year. But I just think the 5 yards per carry and just that pretty much. That was the deal breaker for me.
The difference I have, the reason why I disagree with you there is because I think he was so productive was because he didn't have to take on as much as a workload. He had David Montgomery, a workhorse, you know? And I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs, would he have more touchdowns if it wasn't for David Montgomery? Yes, okay? He would have had a lot more goal line carries because that's what he used David Montgomery for. But you have to remember, he's not going to be as productive if he was in McCaffrey's situation. McCaffrey's situation was terrible, okay? Like, you forget, people had the Niners not even in the playoffs, and he brought them back in.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you I feel like if you put Gibbs in that situation, he's not going to be as productive.
That's where we disagree. But
I think that's
agree to disagree. I mean, it's hard for the running backs.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I know that's why you're probably surprised why I had McCaffrey number 1, but you just have to remember I'm going off of just versus we're just going off as a running back, and I feel like McCaffrey's just still the best pure running back in the league.
Let us know in the comments who you agree with who you think's your number one running back. But yeah, it's Jahmyr Gibbs.
It's Christian McCaffrey. See Mac attack.
We'll see how they do this year. But yeah.